Welcome back. I hope you're doing great. We are enjoying the aggregations, right? We have learned so many aggregation functions in our previous lectures as a part of this section. In this lecture, we'll understand grouping of the sets. Most of the times, it so happens that we are not only trying to have the aggregations within the data frame. We also want to know the data in one data frame is relating to the data in another data frame. That is where grouping of the sets come into picture. Whenever we want the aggregation across the multiple groups, in this case you can say data frames, we can use the grouping of sets. Grouping sets are low level tool for combining sets of aggregations together. Arbitrary means in that moment aggregate on the data which you want, and once that aggregation is done, you will be able to understand the one group data is interacting with the another group data, or how one group data is having a relation to another group of data. One very important aspect is you got to be really careful with the null values whenever you are going with the grouping of the sets. If you want to go for a grouping of the sets, if you have null values, then results may not be correct. Usually, grouping of sets operator, they are available as a part of the SQL. But no need to worry, as a part of the Spark, we do have a rollup and cube which they work as a grouping of the sets. Let us see both rollup and cube. When I say rollup is the term which is used often in the management circle. Can you give me the rollup data of this particular state, this particular country, this particular region? That is what the people in the management circle talk about the rollup. So as we discussed, if you are thinking about you are a president or CEO of one large e-commerce company, you don't want to have the data at an individual city level. You may want the data at the state level. You may want the data at a product category level. You may want the data how the whole product line is performing. That is when rollup will come as a solution. Rollup does a multi-dimensional aggregation that performs a variety of group style calculations. When you say group style, we have already known what are the different calculations which are done as a part of the group by. To do that, all you got to do is go ahead and roll up. Here in this case, we are trying to roll up on a date and country level. So, as I said, if you are a CEO of a e-commerce company which is spread across the globe, you want to go for a day-wise aggregation on a country. That is when you can use the rollup. So you can say date rollup based on the date and country, and you want the sum of the quantities of whatever the items which are sold. Okay, that also can be performed by one more expression like this. Now, if you are not satisfied at a rollup at a hierarchical level, at a 1 or 2 dimensions, you can go to the cube. What cube does is it rolls up the data at multiple dimensions. In a way, across all the dimensions you can think of in that particular data set. The way we use the roll up, in the same way we can use the cube. We are trying to cube date and country in the same way. What it answers is, it answers what are the total across all dates and all countries, and what is the total for each date across all the countries. You can see whatever the permutation and combination is possible within the data set, it gets the data aggregated across all those dimensions. Total for each country and each date, total for each country across all dates, whatever is possible. Isn't it interesting? Especially if you talk about this to the management folks, they'll be ecstatic. Wonderful, we understood important functions like rollup and cube as a part of the grouping of sets. Thank you.